Hi everyone, this video is going to be the season 1 recap of High School Musical, the series. So, let's get started. I'm going to put it like this. Okay. Our main character is Nini, and the show starts off a little bit before her junior year. So, the end of her sophomore year, she's dating Ricky, and right before the summer, she sings him a song that she posts on Instagram about how much she loves him. Ricky is shocked because it's so unexpected. He doesn't say he loves her back, and he also says that they need a break. So Nini is basically broken up with Ricky at that point. She goes to theater camp, really sad, but she meets EJ, who's also in theater camp, and he has the lead part, and she's an understudy during theater camp, and then she gets the lead at the end because the lead actress got sick, which you then later find out was because EJ was like, I saw something special in you, Nini, so I gave the other girl like a bad egg, so she got food poisoning, and then you got to have the lead, which basically shocked her that EJ would do that. But in the beginning of the season, she and EJ go back to school. She's a junior now, he's a senior. She breaks up with Ricky on the first day of school, so he's shocked because he thought they were always going to be together. And then at the same time, Miss Jen is the new drama teacher that shows up and says, hey, we're going to put on a production of High School Musical, the musical, because this is East High. This is where they filmed High School Musical, the movie. So we're going to do like a Broadway musical production of High School Musical, which is now what all the theater kids want to be in. And so this fall semester musical is High School Musical, the musical. And they all go into the auditions. Nini actually gets cast as Gabriella, the main lead, and then EJ thinks he's going to get Troy, the lead, but Ricky runs into the audition and he snatches that Troy part. So now he is cast as Troy, which is what he planned to do. Even though he's not a theater kid, he's more of like a skater kid. He now thinks he has a chance of getting Nini back through like theater chemistry, is gonna reignite their actual chemistry, and then they're gonna get back together. EJ is super jealous because he wanted to be the lead with Nini, and they were gonna have this like beautiful co-lead, like on-screen, off-screen romance. So in the beginning, Nini's dismissive of Ricky, and she wants to be with EJ. However, with EJ's growing jealousy, he ends up asking his cousin Ashlyn to steal Nini's phone. Ashlyn thinks that's a horrible idea, so she doesn't do it. But Gina, who wanted to get cast as Gabriella, she wants Nini to leave the production so she can get the lead. So she helps EJ take her, get Nini's phone, which Nini figures is probably Gina, so she tries to get back at Gina. So they have this conflict, but EJ is having this conflict with Ricky. So Ricky sends Nini a message. EJ hears it, and so he deletes it and tells Ricky off. Ricky's upset, so he tells Nini off, and then Nini figures out that, oh my gosh, it was actually EJ who took my phone, and he didn't tell me anything. So she's really upset with EJ, and then she also finds out that he poisoned the lead, so she would get the lead part in theater camp, so she basically breaks up with him. So now she's single. She broke up with Ricky, and she broke up with EJ. And she's now just focusing on her theater career and trying to, gripe with the fact that she's the lead and she's never been the lead of anything. She's always played like background characters of like trees or something. So that's her main thing throughout the show, along with boys. On the other hand, Gina is very much trying to get the lead, so she's almost like the antagonist throughout season 1 until she gets kind of like the reason why she wants the lead is because she's always moved around, and her mom is like, if you aren't the best, you shouldn't do it at all, basically. So she's just trying to be like an overachiever perfectionist and trying to fit in with everyone. So once she makes friends with everyone and once she and Ricky are more friends, she kind of chills out. But then her mom gets a call from Washington, D.C. and they have to move like within 10 days, and then she won't even be in the production, so she's really upset about that. But so in the show, in season 1, it's basically like her support system is Ricky. The support system of Nini is her best friend Courtney, who in the production, Courtney is doing makeup and costumes, but then she also ends up understudying Taylor, since that's Gina's cast role. And also, Ricky's support system is Big Red, who doesn't also know anything about theater, but he ends up being the stage manager, so he has to do like script readings, he has to do like lights, sounds, background tracks, everything, and he's very bad. But then Mr. Mazzara teaches him some stuff, and since he plays a lot of video games, he's like, wow, look, I'm really good at this at the very end. So he might, in season 2, he might actually be better as a stage manager. And then EJ's support system is his cousin Ashlyn. And then just to say one more thing, Gina and Nini are fighting while Ricky and EJ are fighting, but it's kind of ironic because Ricky's playing Troy, who is best friends with Chad, so EJ's supposed to act as Ricky's best friend or Troy's best friend, while same thing, Taylor and Gabriella are best friends, but Gina and Nini have this like fight going out throughout season 1, but they're also supposed to be best friends while they're acting, so that's a bit of a, them acting / them in reality and that dynamic. Also, Ashlyn is cast as Miss Darbus, who's she wanted to be an aspiring actress, but then she ended up just being a drama teacher, so she's got she's learning to open up and be more herself and sing her own music, because she's really gifted in creating music and writing music. So she grows as a character throughout season 1, and she also has some romance with Big Red. They have some really sweet moments together. And then Miss Jen's student assistant / choreographer for High School Musical, the musical, is Carlos. And he is the openly gay choreographer character, and he gets together with Seb, who's this really sweet farmer boy. His family owns a cattle ranch and I don't know, have sheep and chickens and stuff. So but he really wants to be trendy and cool, so he wants to be cast as Sharpay, and he is cast as Sharpay, so because he wants to be flashy and Sharpay-esque. So he's trying to embrace his cool glittery self. So Carlos helps him, and they kind of get together, and they have cute little moments, and they go to the dance together. At first Carlos is like, oh my gosh, it's not gonna work out because Seb was really late to the dance by 3 hours, but then Seb is like, oh, I'm so sorry I'm late. One of our cows was having a baby cattle or whatever, so I had really bad reception at the barn, so I couldn't be here on time. Carlos is like, oh, it's okay, and then they have a cute dance and stuff. So they're basically together. Ashlyn and Big Red are going to probably be together in season 2. A really quick, Miss Jen and Mr. Mazzara. Mr. Mazzara, throughout all of season 1, is really against Miss Jen because it's the clash of the arts versus the sciences. He's the science teacher and he's the robotics club teacher. So he wants to use the room that Miss Jen is using for drama. He wants to use it for his robotics club. So he's always suspicious of Miss Jen, and he's trying to, get the club. He's trying to get all the students to basically go into robotics club and be in STEM, while she's everyone should do drama and the arts. And so they always fight. And he almost gets her fired in a way because she basically fudged her resume, and she's not, she says she's in High School Musical. She said she has like drama, acting experience, all this, but she doesn't have any of that. She had like one line in High School Musical and then it was cut, so she actually was never in it. So she almost gets fired, but the kids band together and show that Miss Jen is awesome and they want her to stay and they want her to help them put on High School Musical the musical. So she gets to keep her job. And then Mr. Mazzara and her over Thanksgiving break, they kind of reconcile and are almost friends because he's working on a scaled down version of his robotics club robot, which keeps tipping over and falling. And she's like, oh, have it stand in a plie and then it's not going to fall over. And he's like, wow, it works. Arts aren't bad. And then he's like, oh, you're trying to make Troy fly, and while he's singing, holding the basket, he can like do an entire song. She's like, yeah, I can't figure out how I want him. And he's like, oh, just like have him hanging on a rope with like a pulley system or something. So she's like, wow, sciences are awesome. So they kind of are sort of friends during Thanksgiving break because they're alone in the school, but they fall asleep like during like watching some movie, and there's like an electrical problem, and so the majority of the stage gets set on fire, and they almost lose their where they were going to do the production, so it's almost canceled. But then they work really hard to get the stage back so that they can have High School Musical the musical there. They do go to like a theater for like an episode where Miss Jen works on like understanding that she's maybe a struggling actress, but she's actually here for her kids and she's going to help them get through this, and they're going to be like the next generation. So then they work hard, they go back to the actual High School Musical production, and during that production, so Gina is gone, she's not there, but EJ, because his redemption arc, like after working with Ashlyn, like talking through things, and then after being like honest, he knows that it's right, so he buys a plane ticket for Gina, and she comes and she gets to be Taylor, but for the first part, Courtney is Taylor. Then Ricky, because he's struggling with his parents' divorce, and when he sees his mom's new boyfriend, he like runs out of the production because he doesn't want to mess anything up, and he doesn't want to mess anything up because after Nene broke up with EJ and previously Ricky, she was like, no more boys, I'm gonna focus on being a great actress. And when she talks to the girl from theater camp that got food poisoning, the girl is like, oh, theater camp's like so long ago, I don't even remember it, because now I'm in YAC, which is like the Young Actors Conservatory, and she's like, it's so amazing, it's like next league, so she really wants to get in there, and she applies, and then when she tells her friend Courtney's like, oh my gosh, you're gonna leave us, but then she's supportive, and she actually goes and calls the YAC person and says, hey, you should come see our production, Nene's gonna be amazing. So when Nene sees that the YAC lady is there, she really wants to do a good job, and Ricky also finds out, so he doesn't want to mess up her chance of getting into YAC because he's also supportive, and they're no longer together, so he tries really hard. When he sees his mom's new boyfriend, he rushes out. So EJ plays, so he's no longer cast as Troy's best friend, he's cast as Troy for part of it, and then Carlos is his understudy as Chad. But then EJ is like, oh, me and Nene don't have the best chemistry now, she should be with Ricky, so he actually gives up his Troy part and he gives it back to Ricky and says, let's go finish the play. So they have like the beautiful magical Gabriella Troy moment themselves. And then after the play, Ricky finally was like, I'm so sorry I didn't say I love you right before junior year, like I couldn't do it, my parents don't even say I love you, so, but I really, really love you, and I've always loved you since like almost the first time we met or something. And then Nene's like, aw, and then they're basically back together again. Also, because the YAC person leaves before curtain call, she thinks that she didn't impress them, so she doesn't think that she's going to get in. However, at the very end, the YAC lady comes up and she's like, I was calling the president you should come and join the Young Actors Conservatory. We have a spot just for you. So season 2 is probably going to touch on that, where she has to decide, does she want to stay at East High or does she want to pursue and become better at acting by joining the Young Actors Conservatory. Then Gina, hard to say how much she's going to be in season 2 because now she moved and she only came to do the production. So she might not be there for season 2. They might have a new character, but maybe they'll bring her back. I guess it's hard to say. And then Ashlyn, she will probably also be there, and she is going to, I'm thinking, have a bigger role now that she's opened up and she's more comfortable with writing songs. So she might actually be very big in like producing original songs or more piano work or stuff like that. Courtney, since she did makeup and costume, she's really good at it, but maybe she'll also, because she did find out that she can sing, and she basically is more interested in theater than what she originally thought, so she might actually be maybe cast in a role for season 2. And season 2, just so you guys know, it's going to be released probably May 14th, and it's their spring semester now, and their production is going to be Beauty and the Beast, where the main conflict is actually, it won't be Gina anymore, it will actually be North High, which is the rival school of East High. So they're going to have a cutthroat student theater competition between the two schools, and everyone's going to be fighting to make East High the best, basically. So they're probably all going to work more or less together. And in season 2 also, so Nini and Ricky are probably going to be together. Ashlyn and Big Red are probably going to be together because they shared some cute moments in the fall semester. Carlos and Seb are most likely going to stay together. And then maybe there'll be more characters or other things, but so far that's how it looks. And that is the recap of season 1 of High School Musical, the musical, the series. Thanks for watching.